Howdy, folks. Windy City Thetan Watch here. It is Tuesday, March 4th. We're one day after the anniversary of the Chicago grand opening. So the Chicago grand opening was March 3rd of 24. And this weekend, Helly and Korn were out there. Great job. I'm not sure if there were others, and I don't mean to omit anybody, but I definitely saw a lot of Helly and Korn videos out there. So that was great to see. Definitely wished I could have been there. I saw a lot of people going in, a lot of people going out. I would have loved to have challenged them as to how Scientology's helped them, why Scientology won't let them talk about Scientology, so on and so forth. So I do miss being out there. I'll say that because I've been away from it for a while, I feel uncoordinated when I'm out there. So I was out there a couple of times last week, and it's there's muscle memory that I have to get myself back into when I do that. So we're here in the studio tonight. I kind of want to go over the two Miami or South Florida orgs that we've looked at today or this past week. I also want to say thank you very much. One of our audience members used the PayPal link, and they helped me pay for gas on the way to Miami and back. So I really appreciate that. You can always look at my link tree to see for other ways that you can help support the channel. Again, I do this because I want to do it, but it is, there is a cost involved with it, and I do appreciate anybody that can help out with that. So thank you very much for that. And it was definitely a pleasure seeing that when I came back. As I've gotten down here, where I live, I'm not close to any orgs, so I do have to travel. I will say that when I was in Chicago, I took advantage of the fact that I was so close to that Chicago org that I would get out there as often as I could. And I could go at lunchtime. I was 5 minutes away from most of my clients that were there in the loop. So that was always enjoyable to see. Now I'm down here in Florida. I'll say I am adapting well. I actually do like warm weather. It's more challenging to run. There are days where I wake up and it's 90 humidity and no wind. So that's really a nightmare to try and run in. I've always been a cold weather runner, so yeah, we'll see that. But I probably don't miss the idea that I have to put 4 pairs of corduroy on and 2 parkas to go out up in Chicago. So it is coming into summertime there, so we should see more street activity there. Hopefully, we'll have. We saw Trashy was coming back out to protest or audit the org, so that was awesome to see. Always great to see Trashy out there. This one other thing that happened is when I was in Miami, I got a comment from somebody who is a independent Scientologist, and they said that, right, the only true way to learn Scientology, or the only real tech, is independent Scientology. And I'm curious, I still don't think that I think that's dangerous to do that as well, because you're tricking your mind into doing things that it shouldn't be doing. I don't know if it comes with the same abuses of child auditing, or if it has the same issues with human trafficking that the corporate organization of Scientology does. So it'll be interesting. I might reach out to that person and ask if they want to have a discussion on, why Scientology, what's the advantage, what's the disadvantage, why are you in Scientology, and why do you really believe that the technology works? What has it done for you? So that's rather interesting. What else? Yeah, I will make it over to Clearwater, Tampa at some point. That's 3.5 hours away. It's a little bit more of a challenge to get over there. I do have friends over there, so I can probably stay overnight, but we'll see what happens there. And then there's another org up in Orlando, and I do plan on going up and visiting that on weekends when I can get away. While I'm down here, most of I'm busy with clients most of the day, so it's not like I can just go out to the orgs and do auditing or protesting. But we'll see what happens as we go through here. What I would like to do is let's just do kind of a speed run of the orgs that we were at this past week. So let me bring this up on screen. And yeah, sorry, I went vertical the first day. I was walking around. So this was the Palm Beach. Now, if you go to Google Maps or if you go to Scientology.org, it will tell you there's a Palm Beach org. It's a mission. They'll tell you there's a Palm Beach mission. And it'll ask you for contact information, which you give them your name and number. Don't do that. Don't let them get your information because they'll never let go of that information. But what you'll find is that Scientology doesn't exist in Palm Beach County. So while even the Scientology org says that there's an org here or a mission here, there isn't. This first address, I think, is 1966 South Congress Avenue, and it's in a town called Palm Springs. It is like due west of Mar-a-Lago. It's just south of the airport here. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at that.
The Florida one, not the California one. And we're kind of in search of, there's a couple of missions. So Palm Springs is one of the towns or cities in Palm Beach County.
You probably don't need it going at 1,000.
Palm Beach County is a very diverse county. You've got the multi-billionaires living on the coast in their mansions. Trump's Mar-a-Lago is here. And then if you go towards Lake Okeechobee, you're falling into places where there's much more challenging.
Yeah, I just want to pause there. But hey, Cherokee, thanks for chiming in. Really appreciate that. I see the four-leaf clover there. Happy Potchki Day to everybody out there. I think it's Fat Tuesday. Palm Beach County is an incredibly diverse county. If you go out, oh, that's not good. Are you seeing it now? Patty McButterpants. I love that. Bodie McBoatface. Palm Beach County is incredibly diverse. There are multimillionaires and billionaires that live out on the coast in Palm Beach itself and on the intercoastal where the folks want to have their yachts outside their front door. So that's well-to-do folk. And if you're on Palm Beach, it's like going down Rodeo Drive or the Magnificent Mile here in Chicago. And then as you start going west, you fall into much, much more economically deprived areas to the point of when you get out to, is it Belle Glade? There's a person, I think his name's Peter Santello. He did a video this past week on showing the diversity, and he was out on the beach with the wealthy folk, and then he was going to other places, and he was, I will say, fearful of where he was at. Like in Belle Glade, he was uncomfortable with the surroundings there. So that was interesting. Oh, thank you, Patty. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and play that some more and see if that's showing up with either the video or the sound. So it should be paused right now. I'm going to go ahead and play.
Social, economic deprived spaces. But
are you able to see that?
This is Palm Springs. We're just a little bit south of Forest Hills Boulevard at about 1960 South Congress. And mission.
Tell you what I'll do. Let me see if I'm going to take this off and stop sharing and see if I can reshare it. See if that helps. Hey, JBat, thanks for showing up. Appreciate that. Okay, let's
If you were to pull
see.
it up on Google Maps and say, where's the West Palm Beach Scientology space? This is the location you
Are
would,
we any
you
better
would see.
yet? And part of this might be
So,
that
how you
I
doing, Jersey?
have
Thanks for being in here.
much worse
Mama
internet than I
Squirrel, great
had
to see
up in
you. Lady
Chicago.
E,
Mhm.
hopefully you're doing well in South Africa. Oh.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate that.
Not.
So here again, with a little bit of an intro to the video, but then as we move forward, I'll just kind of scan it down. This is the building that, this is the
To the
building
best of my
that used to be
knowledge, that's
Scientology, and it appears that a
Missouri
new
or
church has purchased it.
of New Life.
My guess
I think
is
Vita is Life.
it's a
The
Hispanic-speaking
Agape and Worship
church.
Center and the House of Mercy. So this is what Google will tell you is the Scientology location. Obviously, right, we're seeing where Jesus is Lord, so this would most likely be some form of Christian worship. Probably Protestant, full gospel-esh.
Yeah, so all we're going to notice here is that the key takeaways here are, while Scientology thinks that they have a mission here, there is no Scientology mission here. And this building looks to have been either sold or rented out to this church. It's a Hispanic-speaking church. I would say at Protestant church, full gospel or Christian faith. Just usually when you hear words like agape and Church of Christ, those give you that feeling in that space. But that was the first address that when you pull up, if you were to go to Google and say, where is Scientology in Palm Beach, it will tell you that it's at 1966 South Congress. Well, they're wrong. That's actually very, very true, right? The idea that nobody is there chasing me off the property. I will say that while I did walk along the driveway a little bit, I tend not to walk onto properties of private properties because I don't have First Amendment privileges, shall we say, right? If I'm on the sidewalk, there's nothing they can do. If I'm on their property, they can ask me not to go there anymore and all of that. So that's awesome that you were down there, and hopefully with Perth and T, they had the big protest last year, and I think that she just did another protest in Perth this past couple of weeks, or at least I feel like there's been chatter about that. So awesome. Love to see that we're out in front of these orgs. And Perth does a great job because more so than I do, she actually gets in and digs into the things they do wrong and tries to work up with the government to say, hey, here's some nasty things that this church is doing. So I think that's important and very admirable what she does. It's sort of like, I love how Fat Grammy, Mona, Audit LA, they're true activists, right? And it's just amazing. Amy M is out there doing that quite a bit, and again, that they're going and calling into town councils, right? Much better than what I do. What I do is typically just trying to help people not join into this church. So and church, yeah, corporation at best. Let me move down. So we went for a ride. About 3 miles away is where the next location was at. Howdy, Jules. Great to see you. So This location was interesting because it's a strip mall, and there were
To figure
3
out
or
how
4
to
churches here, as I
reestablish
recall.
the channel. I've always thought that he had good information, and I loved listening to him. And I think that
Talking
he's
about
going to try
Declare Dave
to
here.
revive that, but we'll be patient and let him see how that goes along. I'm curious with this little in the corner, it says church. So right now we're at 2994, 2990-ish Jog Street. Yeah, now I'm seeing it. It says Eagles Rest Church. Yeah, I think that the thing that I always liked about Dave's content is that as a never in, yeah, so this
So
looks to
obviously this
be,
isn't
yeah, I would say
Scientology
a
mission.
traditional church. If you were to look on Scientology.org and look up West Palm Beach, they claim it is in this area. I'm going to say that grooming, isn't that interesting? No more kids in Scientology because of their grooming.
I'm gonna pause there for a second. That I just thought that was kind of funny, right? That grooming, because that's really what Scientology does with all of its children, right? They're grooming these children to grow up to be Scientologists, right? They're starting to brainwash them at that young age. And again, I love that the play on words of Scientology believes that there's a mission here. There is not a mission here, but there is a grooming location here. So, hey, Jody, I might lean on you for some more tips and tricks in that in regards to that. Sorry, and I recognize that you probably misspelled that. So this probably was a mission at some point in time, but is no longer a mission. Scientology doesn't have a presence in Palm Beach County. And Palm Beach County is a very wealthy county on average, right? So you've got the massive gated golf courses that are there. You've got those beachfront properties that are there. You've got all the people with their mansions in that area. And then you've got the folks that aren't doing that well, living a little bit further inland in that space. So this was the second location. Again, dead end. There is no Scientology here in Palm Beach County. So what I then did was on Saturday, I moved down to Miami, and this is on US 1. Howdy, SPTV fans. Great to see you. This is on US 1. You can see there's an inner city train that's behind me there, that elevated set of tracks. I think right now I'm across the street. So the organization is underneath those tracks on the other side of it. So I walked over to the other side just to kind of get a better view of the building that was there. So by the way, if you like peacocks, stay tuned. We're going to see some peacocks. So this is me kind of just walking up to the org there in Miami. And this is an ideal org.
Tape and watch. We are here in Miami.
I think
Good morning to everybody. Howdy, J-Bat. Hi, Bridge. We are across the street. So Scientology is on US 1, fairly busy street. Across the street is, I don't know if this is the Brightline train or an inner city train, but
one of our fans told me it's an inner city train. So this is
right?
not Brightline.
You can see there's the train.
The parking garage with that gold sign.
In the background, across the street, you see Scientology. So you see the yellow sign there. Let me see if I can, oops. I think if I make this big, you're going to see big old Paul. And no fun there. We'll head over there. If you're coming in on the replay, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think I could do better, what you think I'm not doing right. Help me correct this if I'm not doing something well.
Let me jump ahead. I'm going to try and get across the street here. One thing I've noticed since moving to Florida, the lights are incredibly
If you look
long.
at their grand opening, from this side, you can see it's a wall, right? The building is basically a wall, but at the far end, you can see there's a, just above the garage, there's a patio there, and then the patio continues to wrap around the backside of the building. Excellent, Bridge.
Yeah. So what I'm describing there, let me see if I can go back a little bit. So if you see here, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor, but on the right-hand side of this building, you see there's only 2 floors of the garage. And there's a patio right there. There's a little patio. And when they did their grand opening of this org, that's where David Miscavige was at. And then the crowd wrapped around on the patio there, second floor area. They packed that area. So there wouldn't have been a really, I don't know that anybody went out there to protest this grand opening, because this grand opening happened quite a while ago. I think this was like maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. But the way that they were able to do here is they didn't have to block off streets. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't have been allowed to block off streets. US 1's pretty busy. Here, there's an alley that runs behind it, so that wouldn't have been at all helpful. But they were able to stay out of the way of the passersby, because they had that second floor location.
Continues to wrap around the backside of the building. Excellent, Bridge. I'll look for that. The patio.
And here we're going across the street. So
let's go around the back,
200.
Just to kind of see what's going on there. You can see they've got their dumpster here.
I want to say something else about Florida. Florida has so much greenery and trees and everything that I love it. It's beautiful that you don't necessarily see street signs. You don't see anything. You just see greenery. So if you don't know what the building is behind there, you're not going to see it. I drive past the grocery store all the time. I drive past the gas station all the time, because they just have greenery all the way out to the road. And because of the climate here, there is no real winter where all the trees, lose leaves and stuff like that. It's just green all the time. That's awesome, SPTV. Maybe we can if you're still in that area, I'll try to see if we can, I'll let you know the next time I head down that way. Maybe we can join up, grab a coffee. We then kind of go around the back
like
of the
with
building.
everything in Florida, they have an awful lot and street. So here's the alley behind it. It looks like there is some construction going on here. So there's scaffolding going up, and a large dumpster here.
Now, see, you can see those doors that are right ahead of us. Now, with those doors there, that's kind of where their admin desk is, or the reception desk is. And I did see people come out of there. Hopefully we'll see some of that interaction. And from the other side, you can see that as well. So there's kind of a lollipop-like looking element where you've got this little room on the ground floor, which is how you enter the building. And then it's got all of its classrooms and seminar rooms up above. I had several people comment after the video that this place rents out their space. So they probably can't afford, they probably can't afford to keep the mortgage on this building themselves, and that's why they're renting things out. Yeah, let me go ahead and push the email out there real quick. There you go. You can always reach me at windycitythetanwatch@gmail.com. And don't forget, we've got the websites as well. What was I saying about this? We did have a couple of interactions, and we were able to talk to some neighbors. Let me see if I can find where this is at. So this guy, I don't talk to him on this lap, but he's out here waiting for one of his friends. I'm going to take another lap around the building and then come back out here. and we'll engage with them a little bit at that point in time. Here, we're back in front of the building now. So I'm on US 1, and you're going to see the all are welcome sign.
Here we see the lie that all are welcome.
It's a full parking lot today. And the guy that we talked to is kind of going to give us some indication as to why it's a full parking lot.
Now, remember, in Chicago, they didn't have the volunteer ministry buses. Here, we're seeing that Dianetics car a little bit closer up with the phone number. Modern Science and Mental Health.
So I'm sure they drive this around. I would not call that phone number from your actual phone. If you can spoof your phone, go ahead and do that. That phone number. My guess is they're going to take a name and number. They're going to ask you to come to the org. They're going to ask you to buy a book, right? But yeah, they've got this little Jeep or little truck that they drive around as their billboard there in Florida.
You are beginning an adventure. Write down a shithole into a cult. What do we have here? Oh, I think that's just the
chat that day.
The front corner is actually
and then again, here's that.
Here you're seeing their front desk. Looks to be an administrative area. I'll come down with, again, the better camera, and I want to see if there's anything on that back wall. Like, is that a check-in?
Yeah, so I have a 500 millimeter telephoto lens that I should be able to read everything off of that back wall. I didn't have it with me the day that I was out there protesting, so I will definitely bring that one day, and we'll do whatever we can to see what's along this back wall here. My hope is that it's an org chart, but I think that it'd be really risky for them to keep that so far out in public. But we are going to see people leave here, and I'm going to engage with, I think I'm going to engage with two of the people that are leaving this area, and then we're going to talk to that gentleman that we saw over on the back corner.
Board, is it an org chart? Anything significant there? Sorry, there's a lot of traffic behind me. Hopefully that's not being too...
Here's that gentleman again. Yeah, I don't think they have blinds on that floor.
Excuse me, sir. What is this?
I do
what
think
is this
we can
place?
cross that window pretty soon.
What is this place? It's so busy today. Yeah.
So what he's explaining to me right now, and again, I'm still very confused as to what it was, but he said that they're here signing books today. So the people that sign the books, or that write the books, they're here. So is it author services? Is it really that they do rent out this space to other businesses, and is it some other business that's kind of drawn them into this location, or is this a Way to Happiness, CCHR? One of those types of books that are being brought in here. But he's not a member. He's just here for a friend.
Ah, gotcha. So writing the books? Okay. Oh, they sign the books for you? So if you buy a book, or? Oh, they had a conference here. Okay, nice. And are you a member, or? No, I'm waiting for somebody. Okay. Gotcha. So I'll have to figure out what that really means, and maybe we've got some folks.
Yeah,
I'm going to say keyboard warriors in the nicest way. I mean this very well, but can any?
Later on, I do give him a card to give to his friend, and then he realizes that it says Scientology on there. He goes, "Oh no, she's not here for that. She's here for something else." Yeah, so it was odd to me what was going on there. Yeah, so I'm told that there's an architect firm that's in here, and there's another professional organization that's in here, or degreed, where all you really need is you you just need small office space in order to do your actual business. So again, very confusing. I want to dig deeper into what in the world he was talking about there. But I didn't see him pick up his friend or anything of that nature. Here we went across the street, went back through the alley. At some point, there's a young gentleman that's going to come out of the building. Yeah, here. So right here, you're going to see, and I might be too far forward already.
Not sure where they're really headed. Again, I don't see shades here.
But you can see the guy in the white. He has black shorts on and white, and he's walking away from the front door. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to run around the building.
I'm going to see where the guy with the ball cap's going. He went out the back, and he's walking down that residential street.
Ooh, good point. That might be what's going on there too.
But folks, remember, I'm going to have to kind of gain my footing here. I'm very new to the area. I'm really trying to scout things out.
And folks, I am new to this place. I'm nowhere near as confident here as I am in Chicago, because I just don't know where I can go, what everything is, what are these streets. But that gimbal is terrible today.
Are you a member of the church? Are you a member of the church? Oh, okay. Can I ask why you were here today?
He's just waiting for an Uber.
Oh, okay.
He walked out of the building, but he's just waiting for an Uber.
He's getting an Uber as he walked out the back door here. So we can see further down the street the gentleman that I spoke to.
And now, I don't know if you noticed this, but there's 2 cars here in the alley that weren't there the last time I walked through here. So there was activity at this building today. I have no idea if these are Scientologists or not. I will say that many of the people that I saw were wearing long sleeve black sweaters, which is fairly indicative of being staff members.
Somebody's getting in this Honda SUV.
Howdy, Laura. Great to see you. You were here for the live version.
I do have my cards with me. Now, if these all are green candidates, they have little understanding of who I am or what I might be. I highly doubt that any of the people inside the organization would know that. Scientology isn't somebody that's going to forewarn them, except for maybe some of the OSA contingents. There is somebody that just came out of that BMW, and I would say it looks to be uniformed.
Right. Again, Al, let's see. You can't see him here. Let me see if I just speed up there. This lady, she wasn't wearing a sweater. She was just wearing a black long sleeve shirt and a ball cap. I don't think Scientologists would probably wear logoed ball caps. So that's interesting. Maybe others, Laura, is this, appropriate uniform for a staff member? Now, it could be for a public. And again, this was a Saturday morning. Saturday mornings are days when the public would come in and do their courses. This is an ideal org or an idle org that you can do the pre-clear work. So you can't do OT type courses here, but all of those pre-clears, right? Survival rundown, the I Am Man. I know that's not the name of it, but those pre-clear courses would be classes that the people that are public Scientologists would be taking on a Saturday morning.
Definitely an accent. Looks like she's very well abled and showing a handicap placard.
And that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I do not like when people take advantage of the handicap placard, right? The idea that if you're helping somebody with, if you're driving somebody who's got a handicap and you're capable, that's fine. I get that. If you're handicapped, I fully get that. But if you're a fully capable person and you're somehow using your mom's car, your grandma's car, and taking advantage of that placard, I'm not a fan of that. So. Gotcha. So the idea that it makes you look more like the crowd, right? It's easier to blend in with the crowd or to easier to engage with public people on the sidewalk in those situations, or if you're out in public. We're about to hand a card. I think this is where I hand the card off to this guy.
By the way, I'm uncool with that. If you are handicapped, I definitely want to make sure that you have access to buildings and priority parking. But if you're not, please don't abuse that privilege and exclude others who need that from using it. When your friend comes out, this is a very dangerous place. When your friend comes out, this is what happens in this place. They won't tell you this, right? But yeah, please do.
No, but this is different because it's different offices. It's different offices.
He's again protesting that
Okay, all right.
She's not here for Scientology. He knows what Scientology is.
Okay.
He claims that
Sounds
she
good.
knows
No
what
problem.
Scientology is. They would never come here for that.
Now-
But again, I'm struggling to figure out
So his claim
how many
was
other businesses are in this
that
building.
there are different offices in here. And he's still saying something about they write the books. So I don't know if he's talking about like Way to Happiness, human rights, CCHR, what he's.
Let me see if I get up to the next interaction. Oh, this was interesting. So now I'm seeing, remember,
But
the
the staff
vested
member
people, or the
is-
people that wear the vest, the colored vest.
He
in
walked
Chicago
through
was
the little
originally gold.
concrete building there in
They
the back.
originally had they eventually had a bronze.
And he's got
and a
the
light
silver,
blue. This
the
guy
back
has a
of their
silver
vest
vest on.
is silver, right? So in Chicago, we originally saw that they were gold. Then we saw some bronze, and then between light blue and silver. So they absolutely have staff here today, right?
And I think that Bridge.
Oh, and there
Bridge
goes
said
another
that
one out
she's
the back.
seen
Let me go
smoking out
check to
back
see
of
where
that.
she's headed. So a woman with longer dark hair just went out the back.
So
You can see her across.
what happened? I saw this woman walk out the back of the building. Look, long sleeve, black outfit, most likely an actual Scientologist, a staff member. By the way, wearing black in Florida on a sunny day, really strange. But she walked out of there, and I'm not going to follow her because I looked to see if she had flyers. If she had flyers, I would have followed her. I don't think they do routing in this area. I talked to a neighbor later on. The neighbor said that, yeah, they don't usually walk around here, but they will see them at festivals and stuff like that. So I think that she's just on lunch, stretching her legs, because this is about lunchtime on that
Across the
Saturday.
street.
I was really bad with the camera.
Let me see if I can tell if she's got anything
Why do you people tolerate
on her, like a flyer or anything.
Howdy, Marina.
Again, it's near lunchtime. Might just be, hey, let me go for a walk, stretch my legs. So I think that's just a phone in her hand.
Yeah, so I don't think that she's a body router. At least she's not acting as a body router right now.
All right, folks. Neighborhood. It's
I think we'll
so
see
like,
one more person
go ahead, please. You know, you
come
will
out
see me
of
again.
here.
Car out.
So here's somebody leaving the org.
Howdy, Peter. Yes, you will see me again.
And as we look in, I don't know if you'll see inside very well.
Got our Tesla coming by. Black long sleeve sweater.
Yeah, you couldn't see it because of the reflection off of the window. But again, another long black black sweater outfit. So most likely a staff member. So. Hey, Marina, glad you found us. And yeah, you know, I have been bleeding subs, but I haven't been active, so I understand that. But again, even though Scientology is here, I'm sorry, even though you may not have unsubbed, YouTube will, on occasion, just decide, you know what, you no longer need to be subbed to this channel. All right.
Let's be honest,
was really
black long sleeve sweaters are highly likely to be staff members. Now, I will say,
was going to show
she just
you
drove away in a
there's
Tesla,
one more public
and
one.
I don't know, again, I don't know anything about Florida.
Oop, where did they go? Was it right here?
I'm going to see if I can talk with these folks real quick. Hi, you're not on camera. It's the camera.
So I've turned the camera away from them. The camera would, usually the camera intimidates people. Sorry, Patrick. So usually the camera intimidates people. So I'm pushing it away from them, but there are 3 ladies, they're walking their pets. So I assume there's locals. And SP, I did see that. Thank you so much. I really did appreciate that. But I'm going to ask these locals if they know what Scientology is or what's going on here.
The camera's going that way.
What are you filming?
Do you guys know the big building there?
Yeah,
Are you fans, not fans?
not fans.
Okay,
Why?
good.
What's going on?
I'm 100% again. I just want to try and protect people. They're very deceptive in their marketing
Oh,
and
Scientology?
pulling, yeah. So they're going to come around. I don't know. Do they come around the streets here?
I saw them
They-
once during COVID. I
Yeah.
used to live further into the
Okay.
neighborhood. Are you in the neighborhood?
No, I actually am from Chicago. So I used to
You're
always try to help and
independent.
inform. Right. I just want to inform people that are being, that when they hand out propaganda, I want to make sure that I
I
can
don't
help that
ever
out.
really see them.
Yeah.
I remember one during COVID they were doing it.
They probably go to festivals, farmers markets, places like that. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's Scientology. It's a cult.
Oh, okay.
So-
For doing
No problem.
part.
All right.
I saw them. I didn't realize.
So in that, a couple of the people in the group didn't know it was Scientology. So it was like, hey, thank you for that. And then also thanks for what you're doing, right? The idea that I'm out there trying to help people not get caught up into what's going on with this cult.
You have a great day. Thank you so much.
Oops, sorry. Patrick, I have to get back into this. I'm so out of practice. And yes, timestamps are, you know, they're a blessing. Whenever you're doing live protesting, you can be out there for a couple of hours and nothing will happen, and then all of a sudden there's like 10 or 15 minutes of really fast action. So you know, I used to do that much better than I do now. But let me see if we can skip ahead a little bit. I want to see if I can find them again. We're going to see some animals of Florida.
By the way, if you did not hear, they all said, hey, thank you. Usually thunderstorms up there, and right now,
Did I not get any of these on film?
I wonder if that's a peacock now in this. get across.
There we go. If you look here, you're going to see there's a male peacock that's over there on the sidewalk where the cursor's at, and then 3 other females. I think after I turned the camera off, I found one of the male peacocks presenting, but there must have been 50 peacocks in this neighborhood, and they're not native to Florida, so I'm sure that it was, part of a park or a zoo, or some wealthy person had them running around their property and they escaped at some point in time.
Good grief, they're everywhere. And it's springtime, so my expectation is they're all randy. Now, I don't know if peacocks solve that problem all the time. There are 3 males. Oh, and there's definitely, this looks to be nesting. So
Yeah.
that's just
All right. So that was my fun with my fun with Miami. And again, I was really impressed with the peacocks. Not at all impressed with Scientology. It looked pretty quiet. I do think that it might be the Scarface. I'm wondering if it's that or if it's Miami Vice. That in the Scientologists here would not have been alerted because, again, Scientology doesn't like to communicate problems that exist in other orgs to these orgs. So I'm sure that I would have been new to these people. They don't know what's going on yet. After a few days or a few times showing up, I'm sure that we'll see a little bit more fervor when I'm around, that they'll be a little bit worried about this. So Rebecca, I appreciate that. And again, I'm a big fan of anybody who's out there doing the work, anybody who's out there educating us. I look at people like Laura, who not only is she out there educating, but she's in the studio teaching. Last week, she had SP Chef and Scientology Up North talking about or refuting kind of the claims of Scientology in that space. So definitely. And Jody, I'll probably be there a couple of times a month because it's, again, I live in Palm Beach County, right? It's not that bad to get there, but Florida traffic, I'm not a fan of Florida traffic. And then I also want to spend some time up at Orlando, and every once in a while, I'm going to reach out to, or I'm going to go over to Clearwater and Ybor City to go protest or audit in front of those orgs as well. One thing, and at the top of the show, I mentioned this. One person that commented on my videos, because on this video was titled "In Search of Scientology," I think. Yeah, so this was, sorry, ISO Scientology. So I was looking for Scientology. Ha, nice. So you don't see our Palm Beach, so you haven't seen the Palm Beach missions either. Howdy, Mike. Great seeing you. Yeah, Scientology will do whatever they can and as illegal as possible and unethical as possible. And again, they're the most ethical people on the planet, but they do some of the most unethical things in every regard. Great to hear, SPTV. We've got coffee shops all over here. You've got my email on that. But so somebody did respond to this. Let me see if I can go to. I'm going to turn this off for just a second, and I want to bring up the message. I want to guys show you the back office because I don't know what's. Let's do that again. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. Can you see? Let me see if I can do command. So I did have somebody respond to me, and this is a free, darn it, what are they called? Free independent Scientologist, right? So, and if you go to that link there, and let me do this. By the way, I am not condoning this. I'm just telling you that he's got a bunch of videos out there about Scientology, but it's all about the tech of Scientology. And he does a podcast, and the podcast is very anti corporate Scientology. And he calls Scientology a corporation. He goes, hey, if you want to get into Scientology outside of the corporation, you can do that. So I'll put this here. I am not telling you that, hey, this is a great site, you should go see this place. But I will say that this is somebody who responded and said, hey, the only real workable Scientology was the original technology and fully bastardized by the Church of Scientology. I don't know what AOGP stands for, but they deliver the old tech as it was meant to be. And they are dyed-in-the-wool L. Ron Hubbard folk in that space. So let's see, step out of his way. Okay. The KC DSA also walked in my direction, hoping I would step out of his way onto their parking lot so he could charge me with criminal trespass. Yeah, again, the dubious practices of Scientology is ridiculous. Let me go ahead and remove that down here. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. So Advanced Org of the Great Plains. Now, I assume that that's whether or not it's truly a franchise where you're paying for that. I assume there are multiple of those organizations around the United States. So, yeah. Yeah, and what I want to remind everybody here is it's possible they don't do child auditing. It's possible that in the independent, they don't do the crimes like human trafficking or the idea where they've got staff, they're drawing in these staff workers from foreign countries. They bring them over on religious visas, lock up their passports, right? So there's maybe those kinds of things aren't there, but this technology is dangerous. The idea of that this could help you, and they talk about the idea that you should stay away from neuroscience and the drugs that help people with mental disorders, right? So the calming drugs, the lithiums, the Ritalins, those kinds of drugs, where it's required of some people who have brain chemistry imbalances, they need that work. So I wouldn't be surprised by that at all, right? I would not be surprised if that was one of their claims. I do think that I might reach out to this guy and just say, hey, do you want to have a discussion about this? Do you want to try to convince me of what you've done? Because there's a bunch of blogs on their website, and those blogs are basically the same thing that everybody else always tells you. Scientology does great for me, right? I'm such a better person. And I was like, in what way are you better, right? Are you wealthier? Are you taller? Are you richer? What did Scientology do for you? And if all you can tell me is Scientology made your life better, well, I think that you're just taking, darn it, what's the spice that was always in Chinese food to give it more flavor. That's always what it feels like when somebody tells me about Scientology, is that, hey, Lori, thank you so much. Truly appreciate that. And I know you're not a new member. You've been a member several times, but again, I was away for quite a while. So MSG, thank you. Yes. And again, I want to see what this person says. And I've told you before, I don't really care about their philosophies, right? I think their philosophies are stupid. I don't agree with their philosophies. I will say in their self-help spaces, yeah, it's self-help, but it's not their work. It's the work of Buddha, and it's the of Buddhism. It's the work of Shintoism. It's the work of Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy. So LRH co-opted everybody in everybody's learnings and made them their own per se. So it's just ugly the way that you've got that. But I'm more than happy to hear what this person wants to try to convince. How do they convince people to join Scientology? And I don't think that he'll express what the monetary incentive is, but why does independent Scientology exist, and is there an economic motive to it? So, all right, I've been talking for a while. What other questions you guys have? And by the way, I need help here in Florida. I don't know where all of the elements are. I do know that there is an ideal org in Orlando. There used to be missions in Orlando, and I think that mission was started by John Travolta. So I'm sure that I'll go by that mission regardless, even though it's going to be shut down, just to say, look, me and John Travolta were here. And then I think there's one in Ocala, and which is a little bit further north of even Orlando, to the best of my knowledge. And then you've got Tampa, Ybor City, Clearwater. So I will be over in that area as well. And I appreciate everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification. I usually go live spur of the moment or with only an hour's notice in many situations. It just depends on how my day is working out, if I can get over to the org or not. So any questions, any concerns? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Is there anybody out there in SPTV land that we can go raid? I have read these. Now, the good news is in the US, the vast majority of laws are constitutional and then at the federal level. But you're right, there are certain cities, and I do have to check each of these cities, right? When I lived in Chicago, it was awesome because I only had to worry about Chicago. Here, I've got to figure out, okay, does Tampa have, disturbing the peace, or I'm sorry, disturbing a church service, right? Does Tampa have a different law than Miami, than Orlando? So I've got to figure that out as well. But yeah, and one of the things that I want to remind people all the time is that it's pretty important that we make sure that, oh, I'm not showing up as live on SPTV. Boo. Am I showing up on F Sciento? Nobody live on F Sciento either. Howdy, the Oreoids. I do make sure, well, I'm very cautious right now so that I don't get myself in trouble. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I'm following the laws. I don't want Scientology to have the upper hand on me in any situation, right? So let's see here. What else do we have? Oreo, great to see you. If you go back just a little bit, you'll see peacocks. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. And I'll reach out to, and sorry, now we're doing back office type things. Is Allie still involved, or did Allie kind of not want to be involved anymore? Boy, sometimes I hate this 20-second lag. And let me see if I can, I'm on another tab right now, ignoring you all. Just kidding. Just so I can put hashtag sign. I'm putting the hashtags in real quick. Yeah, Lori, Allie is the person behind sptv.space. And oh boy, Mike, what's her channel name? Darn it, I feel bad that I don't remember Allie's channel name. You might know her by her channel name rather than as Allie. So, but listen, thank you so much, Z News Kansas City. Definitely get over there. I don't know that she's made it up to 1,000 yet, but please get over there and do that. Nice. I like that. Yeah, I would say that, well, wait, let me say a couple of things first. Get over to Allie, and Fluffer Squirrel. I know that Fluffer Squirrel has almost a clone of the site, and she's doing work over there. That I think they're using the same technology in order to figure out who's live and who's not live in that space. So kudos to them. I'm very much disappointed by some of the antics of people in the anti-Scientology movement who are not focused on protesting and auditing Scientology. But I'm always so happy when I'm seeing people that actually are protesting Scientology. And I love that we've still got people out on the street. Michael, I know that Cubs is going through some stuff right now. We've seen Heli out there. We've seen Never in Nana out there. We've seen Korn out there. So we're still seeing people out there and at the desk doing work that's trying to challenge Scientology from what they're doing. Right? Yeah, I did watch that, D. That was, and it was very informative how that was going on. And yes, I should have remembered that she had said, hey, if you do hashtag Scientology, she'll pick it up. But let's do this. Yes, please support Cubs. And I think there are GoFundMe out there for Cubs. He's a guy that I'd walk through a wall for, right? And there's several in the community that I walk through a wall for, but Cubs is definitely one of them. All right, I've been taking up enough of your time. Let's head over to Journey 2020 and let her know I said hi. So, oh, good, nice. Now I've got to change my name from Wendy to A Wendy. So, by the way, and today, while I'm not in the Windy City anymore, today was a very windy day in Palm Beach County. So we had about 15-mile-an-hour winds most of the day. So that was nice. All right. Thanks, JBot. Thanks, JewelFire. Thanks for helping out. Thanks all for everybody, for the fans. Thanks, Lori, for re-upping your membership. Let's head over and say hi to Journey 2020. All right. I will see you later.